Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. In this video, my name is Shahadat, by the way. In this video, I'm going to talk about this particular video uploaded by Sheikh Asim Al Hakim. He has done a brilliant job in terms of the making the video and trying to spread the knowledge. But I think this particular video is actually quite confusing, and instead of benefiting people, it is actually going to cause quite a bit of confusion, and it may uh, basically do the opposite. I tried to contact him. He's got a website, and there are ways to contact him, but it looks like he is purely focused on speaking opportunities, invitations. There is no, I couldn't find, at least, I couldn't find a way to actually contact him where I send a message and he will basically get the message and read it. So I tried my level best to get in touch with him, and he's got a Twitter profile, and he keeps on uploading all these videos every now and then. He answers questions, so I try to connect with him through that, ask him questions so that he can explain his position, and maybe if he listens to my arguments, he might consider my arguments to be strong enough to change his position and stuff. But I didn't get a response really. So this is basically, now I'm trying to publicly refute him, because the video obviously is a public video, and I think this video is actually confusing or causing more harm than good. And so that's why I'm doing it. Now, in terms of qualification, let me tell you quickly about the video. It's a video where he talks about how one of his friends actually used camel urine to cure his cancer. So, but the way he presented it to the people, to the world, is actually way too simplistic. And given the fact that cancer is actually a really, really difficult disease, thousands and thousands of scholars are actually pulling their hair out, trying to address, trying to fix cancer, trying to find a cure for cancer. And whereas our sheikh here, he tried to give a very simplistic solution, and it doesn't work for a lot of people. There is no there is no scientific reason why it should work in a cancer patient's case. So I thought I have to make this public refutation so that he can correct his problems. I follow the sheikh, and I've learned quite a bit from the sheikh. So I have respect for him. But in Islam, obviously, whoever is making a mistake, we have to make an effort to correct them to the best of our knowledge. Now, what gives me the authority or qualification to actually refute his arguments or his video? I have done some studies. I've done a course on nutrition, and I have been following the cancer researchers for quite a while, and I've learned about cancer from them. I mean, they're some of the top scientists, and so far, the explanation that they are coming up with and the explanation that the sheikh is giving, they are not really the same. And my problem is not even that, not even there. I mean, obviously, scientists are doing their level best. They might not know something that our Prophet, beloved Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, probably knew. Probably Allah Rabbul Alamin told our Prophet, or enlightened our Prophet with certain knowledge that this scientists, even the best scientists of our day, they don't know about it. It's possible, but there are some flaws in the way the argument was presented. Now, without further ado, let me start the video, and then I'll tell you where the problem is, or where I couldn't accept this particular the arguments, the evidence presented by the sheikh, and why I think it's actually confusing people. Having a cancer patient in the family, I particularly think that this is more harmful than helpful. But anyway, let's start.
The cure for cancer is in the hands of Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah did not
True.
create an illness without creating a cure to it. Whoever knows it would, and whoever is ignorant would not, as the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam. And the medication or the healing process through drinking the milk and the urine of camels is authentic in the Sahih. It's in al-Bukhari, the hadith of al-Uraniyin, who came to Medina, embraced Islam, got sick. The Prophet ordered them to go out and live with the herd of sadaqah camels, and to drink, he specified, to drink from its milk and urine. And after a few days, they got healthy, alhamdulillah, but then they killed the shepherd and they did heinous things to the rest of the hadith, etc. So
the things that we have to take into our notice here is it is an authentic hadith, true, but nowhere in the hadith we know exactly what problem those people had. Was it cancer? Most probably not, because cancer was not really a very common disease in those days. And given the fact that it was cured in a few days, I assume it cannot be cancer. But this is an assumption, true. But then again, in the hadith, there is no mention of a particular cancer as the disease. Now, the friend that Dr. Asim Al-Hakim, somebody's calling me, but I'll take the call a bit later. Sorry. So the cure, obviously, the hadith is not saying that this is a cure for any disease. There is no mention of any disease kind of a wording in the hadith. So we cannot use it as a cure-all kind of thing. That's number one. Number two is, given the time in those days, cancer was a rarity. I mean, people hardly had cancer. So that's the second.
So the process is Islamic without any doubt. Now, maybe doctors would come and object. Maybe
the second thing that I was going to say is, suddenly I lost my train of thought. So yeah, two things. One is the hadith doesn't say it was meant to cure cancer. And the second thing is hadith doesn't say it was a generalized advice. Like our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned that honey can be a cure for lots of diseases. The black seed can be a cure for lots of diseases. So those are kind of like more generalized. So those hadith, they are actually telling us for any disease, you can use those remedies trying to fight against the illness that you have. Obviously, the end decision, the final decision comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But in this particular hadith, nothing like that was mentioned. And then the other thing is the friend that the Sheikh is talking about, he actually didn't only use this solution. He used this solution and other things. So that's a big problem in the cancer treatment world, because cancer is such a terrible disease that no patient actually sits with one solution. Nobody says, okay, I'm just going to do this one thing, this homeopathy or this naturopathy or this allopathy. I'm just going to stick to this and I'm not going to do anything else. Nobody says that. People try everything possible in their capacity. So at the end of the day, you just don't know what worked. So when that's the situation, using an example to tell the masses that you can actually cure cancer using this is not very wise. But let me continue the video so you know.
Maybe people without proper Islamic knowledge would say, ugh, what is this? No, this is gross. This is disgusting. Whatever you want to say it. But if you have cancer and you're taking different levels of chemotherapy and you're unable to digest anything and you vomit all the time and your hair is falling and you're bald and you are unable to even get up from your bed and you need someone to help you every step of the way and you know that you're dying, then your only chance is to turn to Allah Azza wa Jal and to seek Islamic healing, Islamic form of medication. And this is one of them. I know a personal friend of mine who is a teacher, chemistry teacher. We taught together in high school, and I met him a few months back. And he told me that they have taken a part of his intestines because he had cancer spreading.
So a part of his intestine was already removed. So he was actually taking normal allopathic or traditional oncologic treatment.
All over. And the doctors told him that you have few months left. And then he dropped the chemotherapy and he went to drink dosages of urine and milk mixed together of camels. And in 5 months' time, with the grace of Allah, it all disappeared. And I asked him, how was the taste? He said in the very first day, 2 days, it was not that good. But until today, he says, I'm drinking it every single morning and I have no problem with that. So if you bring a small cap and you fill it with camel urine and mix it with a glass of milk and you drink it with the grace of Allah, this is a form of healing.
So with the grace of Allah, of course, many things is possible. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can actually heal you even without this treatment. Now, I'm not saying that this doesn't work in case of cancer. All I'm saying is we don't really have evidence, reliable evidence, that this is the thing that healed cancer. So presenting it in that sort of a light, it confuses people because the general people, like everyday people, person like you and me, we watch this video and we then meet somebody who has cancer. We try to help them and we tell them this is what you need to do. And the poor patient, they might have already done it and they didn't get the benefit. So they know it's not working. But then the problem that happens is when they again hear it from you and they try to ignore you because obviously they've gone through it, and they try to ignore you, you become like offended. How? I mean, they're in the way, they're in such a great, difficult time, but then look at their arrogance. This actually makes things complicated. It doesn't help anybody. So that's why on this sort of things, even if it is somebody's using this treatment, we should actually do a scientific experiment. Take 500 cancer patients and get all of them to use this. I mean, I'm not even saying that they should only stick to this. They can use other things as well, but we should keep them in the record that they're using option A, option B, option C, and that way we can do a proper research and then can see people who were having this and something else, probably how many of them got benefited. And that could probably be a better way of presenting this kind of information. And that way, the other benefit that will happen is the cancer patients, they will not be confused. And other people, they will know that, okay, it's not only this, there may be other things. So, and the other thing I'll quickly add is if you have cancer, if you know anybody who has got cancer, I would strongly recommend that you go and watch lectures of this gentleman called Professor Dr. Thomas Seyfried, S-E-Y-F-R-I-E-D. That's the spelling of his last name. Professor Dr. Thomas Seyfried. He is a cancer researcher. He has published over 200 papers so far, and he has come up with a very simple solution for cancer. The main thesis of his idea, well, it's not really pure his original idea. It was the idea of Nobel laureate professor, scientist back in 1920s. And he is now, after doing research on that theory, he is convinced that that gentleman, Dr. Otto Warburg from Germany, he actually got the idea about cancer right. And the solution for cancer in most cases, not in all cases, in most cases, people will be benefited if they stop eating carbohydrates. Because in his research, he found that cancer tumors, the tissues, they actually heavily rely on sugar, glucose, for their survival. So if somebody who's got cancer, stop eating carbohydrates, what happens is there is no extra sugar in his body, in his blood. That means the cancer tumor doesn't get enough food. That means it gets weaker. And there are a few other things. When you don't eat carbohydrates, a few other things happen in the body that helps your immune system, that helps you get in a better mindset, and a few other benefits. I'm not going to give a big lecture on that now, but this is an idea, very simple idea. All you need to do is remove carbohydrates from your food and then stop eating very frequently. Don't even eat the fruits and fruits. Yeah, not the fruits. Some people think they're very beneficial, but there are many times when it's not really. So if you do that, the traditional treatment, chemotherapy, radiotherapy, those things seem to work far better. Okay, so that can actually, and this is based on science. This is based on science. This is based on actual research. It's not just one individual's anecdote. So for us, this can actually be a better solution. We can look at ourselves and we can identify that because of the lifestyle that we have, probably we actually caused the cancer to develop in our body. And if we turn back, if we try to stay away from the foods that are not now in this diseased state, not helping you, if you stay away from them, probably you will be benefited. So yeah, if anyone among you want to know more about this cancer solution, you can contact me. I am actually individually, I can excuse me, explain the whole idea, how it works, what are the rationale behind it, and the rest of the stories. And I do that for free anyway, fi sabilillah. So if you speak to me, I will try to explain these ideas to you. I've tried to explain or share the same idea with Sheikh Asim Al-Hakim, but because he's not contacting, he's not responding, yeah, I couldn't really get a lot of help. I couldn't get, yeah, it didn't really work for me. Anyway, I'll stop mumbling now. Hope you find this useful, and if Sheikh Asim Al-Hakim ever gets to see this video, hopefully you will understand that it was I was not trying to disrespect him or belittle him in any way. All I was trying to say is probably the way he presented his information, that probably was not the best way to do it. And instead of helping cancer patients, probably this is confusing more people and causing more harm, which we all should try to stay away from. Anyway, I'll see you later, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.